Thank you, Mr. Keshe. Thank you for being here.
You're welcome. Just come here to listen. You learn a lot from social interactions and what is going on. I think this week will be most probably the last week or sometime next week. The Keshe Foundation will be kept as it is. And all of you, wherever you are, we will understand very soon that some of you who've been around will become pillar of your society to be able to help. And there's a lot of things happening, which is at this moment of time will change a lot for new procedures, new technology has been developed, which has been kept from public till the scientific papers are released. And in a way, what we see, if the protocols kept, a lot will change. Regarding not only corona, but totally viruses in deep space, and we are what we call coordinating from this week on, that the knowledge and information to do with corona will come simultaneously between Iranian international organizations and Iranian government officials, because this is the only way we see that it will be brought up correctly. There will be a joint work with what we call Keshe Foundation and the newly to be set up Keshe Foundation University. So everything from now on in that level will be announced by the what we call the public relation and the spokesman of the Keshe Foundation Iranian team, which has already been announced. And we keep it from now until that point. But we see the change. The change is now everything is organized, orchestrated, and delivered at the same time by Keshe Foundation and Iranian national media, that we work hand in hand, and will be done that way from now. We were left too long in the hand of what are called thugs in Europe and in America. Now the Keshe Foundation has been in a point that we as a family worldwide will change a lot of things. And what we said to the head of the Keshe Foundation, the webmaster, is to be ready for what is to come. And it hasn't stopped. But when I hear a lot of you suffering, a lot of people dying, we don't see any reason for it. In fact, if you think of it, if the American government is taking a case against China for billions of dollars of damages, in fact, all of us, totally governments, have to take damages against Belgian government for lying, cheating, and hiding, and what they call it, disgrace behavior, that this technology could not be there, that when it came out could save. Chinese used it to their benefit, they control it, the Iranian used it to their control. And I think it's appropriate now that international action will be taken against Belgium monarchy as a whole for what they've done to humanity, that the technology was not available even when the disaster came. They are It's a shameful nation and its leadership, and cases will be taken against them for false and deception. And this will take place internationally against this, what I call, criminal state. Since we discovered their agent in Keshe in Iran, now they start coming up with another groups. Now they lost their guy in Belgium dying of corona. And we see how things will change. And in a way, the future is bright for all of us. And we, in the public teaching schools, release more information in respect to maybe in a different way looking at it on the hindsight, what the corona brought us, what corona brought to humanity as such, and even how we saw each other's behavior. But there is a good future, and when we listen to people around the world, number of deaths from corona at the moment estimated is about 10% reported. Worldwide, all the governments are reporting about 10% of their actual corona deaths, which means multiply everything by 10, you're just somewhere but just about right. America is reporting 1.5 million over, multiplied as there's about 15 million people in the US have been affected. And your total death is at least 1 million now. As we heard, heart attack of the young people in bed, brain hemorrhages which led to death, internal bleedings with no reason. These are all published in the new scientific paper, which to be released sometime next very near future. And you're not wrong when you say the gentleman died in bed of heart attack. This is, if you're age of 30 to 50, 55, this is now where we see the corona is killing. There is a solution for it. You can extract it at the heart attack, early stages of it. And in the new protocol will be stated how, because we'll see more deaths like this. We see, as I said, amputations. We see emergence of the cancers. The cancers are emerging very, very rapidly. And this is one of the ways to handle it. We'll see how and the way we can do it. But in general, we come out of it much better than could imagine. But on the other hand, I think humanity needed a awakening call in how to handle it and how to do it. We haven't won this game. We haven't won this fight. But we estimate another double to triple this number will die in the next 6 months, especially with opening up the social structures. And if you look at it as one of the knowledge seekers said, they're opening because people are run out of money. And if they keep it any longer, we'll see what we saw in China. We have videos, we have evidence that the Chinese are much less what we call money controllers. They never had such a large sums of money to hold. And people earned money, and that's all they had to live on. Maybe a little bit of saving a month or two. And after about the first month to second month, they came on the street. And the Chinese government executed them live round, put them against the wall. On the basis of as they come out, they've been contaminated. But in fact, they executed a large number of hungry people. And this is what is waiting for the United States, definitely. If you go into another month of hold on or second hold, if they don't open, people run out of food. And the second wave will be a silent wave. The second, they cannot shut down. China has shut down over 1,000 cities and towns at the moment because they don't want to shut down. And when they see it, they shut it down, they control it. And the same way they open it again if they can, but they have no solution for the new virus, what we call mutation. And we are even today developing new technologies for the new variation. It's not going to stop. It's changing. Even in past 48 hours, we've seen a new version of it. And we've been battling 2 cases, 3 cases, finding out the young children now getting hit. I objecting schools to be opened because we're going to see what they say, children are not at risk. 30% of the people died in Corona in one city are children below 5. So there is a high rate of mortality in the youngsters. And what I see with the European governments is a criminal act to open the schools. We are leaving the children in the hand of God's will, as they say. But the children will die. We'll see a massive, if they don't careful, problems with this. Because we know we have a clear, in Iran, we have the same problem. 1/3 of the deaths are children under 5. And how they're opening the schools is beyond belief. The reality is schools should be shut. And the reality is teachers are paid. Schools are paid for. Children's life are not to take risk of. If it was that we have to pay the schools to be open extra with an additional cost, yes, but teachers are paid. Everything is paid. Why do you put children at risk? And the second wave, I think, of what we will see is a very large increase in children contamination. And it is one of the worst condition scenarios because this is one of the weak points. As we see not recorded in Belgium, 700 people died a day on the east side of Belgium, and it's not reported according to what we hear. And in places like England and in some states in America, all people's homes are locked down. And when they open it up after a week, they're all dead. Nobody dares to go into the contaminated houses. And all people are old. We saw that in Iran. And these are the social structures we have to handle. The new scientific paper covers all these things very, very much in depth, very much in depth. And is a comprehensive, some 200 pages most probably by the time we finish with it up there. Detailed information on Corona. And I don't think any scientific paper has ever been produced about Corona up to this time. And the situation with Corona has to be kept under control by one central organization independent from any government. And the possibility of what we call a structure which can do such a thing is very, very hard to find, very, very hard to find. Bill Gates has paid a lot of people, and exposure of him publicly will be a bigger problem for them. Much bigger problem for governments who have colluded with him. And it is amazing how we allow this thing to happen to us. But on the other hand, as you will hear in the near future, this was a golden opportunity for man to understand a lot of what is ahead. As I think Alex says in part of the talk tonight, that as we know, on the 27th, American are putting 2 more people in space. These people are not exposed to anything outside. They literally go into the hatch, they go into a sealed compartment, and they come back to it. Nobody's exposed to real viruses in the universe. None of us have taken that step. As I said today, when you're head of a space technology, a space university, we need to release a mouse, we need to release a cat, we need to release a human being, and see if they really die in space. If mankind has learned, should not. If we develop to that stage, now that the Keshe Foundation is taking lead in the scientific development in space, and the rest of it, as it comes out, you will see. This is one of the first things we'll do. This is the fear of death, but actually die. And when we are exposed, do we actually capture? Or do we actually get contaminated by viruses so rapidly? And what is our chances of dying is actually by contamination by viruses than before we suffocate, if the suffocation is voluntary. Or in reality, do we die when you're born out of the womb of the mother and we come to the environment of the earth? Isn't that another birth? What happens if you're released from controlled environment in the womb of the universe? We do not know. The knowledge is not there. And most probably, the being will die of massive dosage of energies, what we call viruses, before they take the first breath. Unless we teach that how we can adjust our souls to it. And this is part of the teachings which will start coming as we started last week. Last Thursday teaching was the basis for the new understanding of the man to be born into universal community. The actual physical birth, because we had to learn how. We don't teach a baby how to be born from the womb of the mother into the atmosphere of this planet. How do we teach our soul to be born and behave? You can't do it in a vacuum condition of the earth. It's not real. You die. But in a space of the universe beyond earth is massive pool of life. We never tested it. We live in an absolute theoretical life. We were born, we didn't die. So in that process, we have to watch the mutation. How do we mutate? How many generations will it take to go through that process? And if you're born to the atmosphere of the solar system or the universe, how do we react? The reality is, what would happen if we keep a woman alive by air condition and let her give birth into the space? Would the child's soul will transfer? Or would it grasp for the air? These are the what we call frontiers of knowledge, which you will see coming out of the Keshe Foundation in coming time. As we said, we have to pass these fears and theory, and in fact, as we go into space, what will happen? What happens to the physical birth on Earth? Do we actually take energy, or do we actually need oxygen? And would the viruses be part of the structure of that life? We don't imagine this is what's on the table. We don't go to a space even on Thursday. We just go to a capsule which is connected, copy of the Earth, but it has less gravity. We have not become real man of a space, real term that we can live in the space. And as we've seen, and what we call the human race has to understand and have the soul of the universe to be able to give life to the physical children of the universe. And this is one of the reasons the two ladies, or we call the heads of Keshe Foundations, have been chosen. They understand the process, they understand the conditions of life on this planet, and what is their concept, what is their understanding of the birth in the universe. Both never had any children, and they never both have any children to have that belief. And what is what we call the new birth in the space? There is a lot to come. Do we rely on the viruses to feed us? Well, we saw the viruses matter of death. Would the corona will be the savior of energy for man in space? Do we need to understand to use the knowledge and the energy of the what we call corona, the knowledge of it, not necessarily the strength of the energy of it, that wherever we land, we can give ourselves physicality. Not everything about corona is bad if man knows what to look for. If you look, energy of corona shows energy of the cell can be manifested into solid, into calcium. But if you understand that knowledge, what's going to bring to us in space, you have the soul, and within the soul of the man, you can use a human virus strength that creates physicality in a human environment. This is what I said in the teachings is post-corona. But the first children born out of man in a space will know how to give themselves what we call physicality, because it's in the essence of their life in the first stages in the womb of the mother. What changes? And why do we calcify and get the bone structure? And isn't this a virus? Because we've seen it with corona. I'll discuss this in the coming up teachings, in the international teachings and Thursday teachings, because mankind has got to open his eyes. These two women, as the head of Keshe Foundations, if they give birth, would it be in a dimension of accepting the soul from what we call universal community? Would they give birth to a soul, or would they give the physicality of the soul if he decides? These are real things on our hand. It's not anymore written in space books. Then, if we have such a capability, would we see any more handicapped children? Would we see any more deformed children? Or do we decide our children are born with all the languages on this planet because we hear it on the radio and they can understand and translate it? what is the dimension of physicality we want? And Prana is teaching us. The position as will come to a lot of you as knowledge seekers, and very soon on the international arena, it will be this. As an organization which has solved the corona in every aspect, will get the prominence to bring the mass mentality and understanding to the new level. Would we see another 40, 50 million unemployed across the planet with all the pharmaceuticals and fake works and the vaccination gone? But what do we do? How we change things? And to what extent does Corona will help us? Because it's a knowledge. Corona, for a lot of you, is danger, killing, and destroying. What has it shown? What has it showed us? A lot, a lot. It showed, first of all, we are vulnerable. Now we know how it solidifies. We can learn from it, make it part of our RNA, not a DNA, that anywhere in space we can give ourselves physicality if we need be. We just need to change the energy slightly to the energy of environment. In a way, if you look at it, RNA is the inertial weight mass of energy. There's a lot of knowledge into this corona, and it's a lot of gifts. No, we don't, because mankind doesn't have the knowledge. Doesn't mean it doesn't exist in Keshe Foundation. And this will be shown, especially with the two women in the head of the Keshe Foundation. Very soon, you will find out why these two women were chosen and given gift of the soul of the universe. That is a part, but in so many ways, what are we going to do? How are we gonna react in the space? We're a bunch of people, we get into a capsule, airtight, we open another airtight. We haven't been to a space. We haven't put a finger out in the space. I remember the second time I landed in Tehran, in the car with the head of Tehran Space University, talking. He said, we put a rat in space. I said, in real space outside, that's where our ultimate goal has to be. And he hasn't changed since 2010. It's not that we cannot kill, we cannot destroy. We have to understand what happened in the depth of a space if you are a traveler of a spaceship, or if your soul runs out into energy above it, more powerful than it, or much lower than it, that you want to manifest use the physicality. What do you do it? How come we feel fear and we shrink? How come we feel joy or love and we open up? It's the emotional strength which creates that. So what happened to our soul when it feels certain things, and it feels the energy which creates manifestation, sits in Corona. Knowledge of it, not in the virus itself, but in fact, we do it every day. We decide what cell to be what in every part of our body: soft, hard, bone, jelly, whatever. If it is within us, Corona is showing us how to do it. We got to replicate it. And with the Keshe Foundation, what we do it against is now we have to go, and I keep on saying, look at the strength of the fields of it. How do we convert gas, what we call calcification, into energy? Isn't this what we do in gas production? We transfer matter into energy. Isn't this exactly what we do in the lungs and the heart and the bone with the with the gas patches you put on, or the showering you do yourself with the gases. Most of you are old hand in the Keshe Foundation, but you'll find out the move will be very rapid, very, very rapid. What would be the first reaction of us as the first children which are born in a space, in actual space? Wouldn't there be a fear of they die? Wouldn't there be a fear of what they lock into? Did we have a fear when we brought the children into this world? They didn't take the first breath in this world. When they came, they have to adopt. When they adopt in the space, I put a picture out this afternoon, a few minutes ago. It's very funny if you go on the internet and have a look. If any of you can go and check. A woman who has 17 children, but it's fake. But what about the children they create? What about if we allow half of these children to be born in a space and half in the environment of the atmosphere of Earth? Why do we have one of the biggest problems in the human body, the birth tunnel, which ends up with so much damage from the first second we are born, we are damaged. And we accepted it. This is the way to be born. What about if we develop technologies which we can transfer the baby from the womb of the mother to outside without going through the transition, which creates 80% of the problems in the coming time of the growth of the child? These are not fairy tales anymore. We have the knowledge, it just needs to be opened up. And how would we give birth? These are a lot of things which, from now on, as we become one of the leading organizations in the space and other aspects, as you will see, we have to put on the table. And some of these 40, 50, 100 million people are unemployed, highly educated, to divert their works towards this direction. We finance to make arms, we finance to find life. And this is part of what is to come. The corona on post-corona is the Industrial Revolution, a massive Industrial Revolution, backed by one of the most powerful scientific nations in the world, Iran. I am backed so solid that we have no problem. The backing of the Keshe Foundation and my work in Iran is 100% solid. And now we come out with a full structure, full technology. And these are the things we have to look on the rest of the scientific world and international community has to follow to find out. We finish with the waters of and power food. This is part of what is to come. This is part of what it has to be. And how we this is part of what we need to do. This is what we need to do. And this is what we can do. What is to happen?
Mr. Keshe, I just want to confirm that that is you closing your mic on purpose.
Yes, I have a boy who's playing games And he doesn't understand, he's shouting over himself because he's got a headphone. He can't hear himself.
That's what I thought. I just wanted to double check. Okay,
Yeah,
thank you,
yeah,
sir.
no problem. They get carried away with the fake imagination of these new games, but that's their life. This is what is part of what is to come. And nothing is bad. You can't find finances to put millions of these people back to work. The company has all been running on overdrafts or fakes. And what and how and what limit is another game. We have to create new jobs with new technologies, new understanding, and new process. When it's there, we have no choice. Creating 1 million jobs takes a lot. And half of these people sign unemployed because the companies cannot pay their wages. And in turn, some of these laboratories, some of these clinics, some of the production lines, trying to even keeping emergency going, they have lost some of their people. Experts have lost. We see it, people don't understand. If you notice, we are so accurate in our work, and that is unbelievable. If you notice, some of you placed orders for pads just before Christmas, and it was supposed to be delivered in February, and we have just started putting it out. These pads were produced in Wuhan City, in the heart of Wuhan City. And the factory has lost so many workers, they cannot catch up and they cannot bring anybody in. Delays on delays, and now we start putting them out as of this week. A factory with 100, 150 workers, and only 10 turned up, 140 are dead. They're physically dead. Factories with the enhancement unit, with the experts, even with Protect, they could turn up. They're not there, they died. Wuhan City is a ghost city. If a small company with 150 has only 10 turning up at work, which means they don't even have money to live, everybody would have been there to work to earn something. Friday, maybe 10 and the 20 didn't turn up. What happened with that 100? They're back into the sky with the ashes and the dust. In US, you have the same. As I think Louis said, read the mortuaries. Read what happens in obituaries. What happens in the mortuaries. Read how many people are in there who are not even there. I reckon American statistics is not real at all. It's not the number of contamination, and they say they are putting the accident people and everybody else in. But by the same measure, those who die now of the heart attack is just put in there. Corona is not known. We have a case with us, a father literally going into a heart attack. He thinks he puts his hand to say goodbye. He knew he can't do, but he says, I don't know, somehow my hand moved and I put against on my heart, and it was just like energy coming out of it. And I just woke up an hour later and there was no heart attack. And he's had it twice. It is what we learn. This is part of what we see. It is part of what humanity needs to go through. but we got to learn. We got to go make man of space. And one of the first changes in the whole structure is the new birth, new way that we give birth to new, not a children, but new birth to understanding and mentality, a new birth for the ethos of living. And this will all come out. And maybe at the end of it, we say the best thing ever happened to humanity was the phase of Corona, because with it brought what we call universal evolution. In a way, it is a revolution in every sense. We had the Industrial Revolution, now we have the Space Revolution, where we go straight from this to that. And we have enough people, enough gifted people who can take us across. They've just been put in the wrong way to think and work. Don't forget, the scientists were made to make tanks. And as I said, we use the same scientists to make pianos with it. Depends on the leadership. It depends on the insight of those who lead humanity. Do we go for tanks or do we go for pianos? One the music of death and one music of joy. And we hear American president again out of his what I call arrogance and stupidity is talking about the starting of nuclear weapon development again. For what? It's obsolete. It's just rhetoric. It's just to keep something going. Leaders like this should be put aside. Any leader who supports these kind of things has to be put aside. We have no choice. We choose, and all leaders have to choose our way. Maybe by soul, maybe by water ballot. And would the future leaders be the same as Universal Council members? People recognize them, but what they give them and what they serve humanity. Corona is, in so many ways, is the best thing happened to humanity. If mankind understand it, if we didn't have this knowledge of what we have now when it's come out, maybe it was the worst thing, but with it, what we have is opened up a lot of things for all of us, because for us to educate people into new space technology, cancer and energy, then all matter state would have taken so much. Now they do it because they want to save their lives. You go to a restaurant, you come back with the pains of Corona. Sorry, you shouldn't have gone to a restaurant. You should have gone, but it's there. If you want to live, we understand the new technology and take into it. It's the biggest evolution and revolution for mankind, but if we do it, and it needs a leadership who understands the upcoming what it is. And that leadership has to come across those who are really understand and can be the creator of it. They can create the environment. Just 1 second, please. This is a reality of what, as a society, we have to learn. And new industrial revolution needs a new leadership, new understanding. And for sure, that will not come from the United States. That for sure. It needs a nation who has ethics, and everything is not valued by what I call money. The American dream has turned out to be the worst dream for humanity. Greed, murder, lies, cheating. The worst nightmare mankind went through was the American dream, because it's brought nothing but death and destruction. And those who used it to benefit their own power ego. And it comes, we see it, we work with it, and hopefully many of your suffering is deliberate or by accident is not a waste. It's just to learn from it and be there to do what needs to be done. And what is our future? Are they all the bacteria worse, bad, or killing us? Or are they part of our body that we live through it when we get better because of it? But this new corona has opened up a lot. Has opened beyond a lot. But we need what we call people who have an insight to open up, not to use it in a negative way. And it needs world scientists to work together and not against and in hidden back doors with whatever. Anyway, this is what, as knowledge seekers, you will see to come. And it will come in a much, much bigger way. A much, much bigger way. Thank you very much.
I, for one, will probably echo the feelings on this panel. That thank you very much, Mr. Keshe. We feel a whole lot better coming out of this meeting than we did coming in, because the future is very bright and we're part of it. And thanks to you, you've made it happen. Thank you for being here today.
You're welcome. We are all part of it. In so many ways, some of our souls were born to be here, to be part of this. As I say, it's not coincidental that we are here and people are here, even those who try to do damage and those who try to support. And it's as we say, the tide has turned, and this time it is absolutely beautiful what is done and what we see. There is a team of what I call devoted Keshe Foundation knowledge seekers who are working even to 3 o'clock in the morning. Even today and tomorrow is the most holiest national holidays in the Islamic world. The Keshe Foundation team, which is putting the papers to be published, has not stopped working. And it's a big team of them, it's not one or two. They put all their holidays apart, their families apart, and there to make sure they are there to be done. Heads up, universities in their holidays, they're in different states, making sure when it comes out, it's unified right across Iran. A lot is happening to make sure this time nobody believes the Belgians. Nobody believes the Belgians. The damage they've done is beyond. As I said, there won't be a state of Belgium when I finish. Then this is the beginning of the end for them. A nation who cannot pay for the damage done should not be a nation. But at the same time, this situation has allowed what we call the humanity to find a new course. Do we need leaders who lie and cheat? I told you, it's just everything is coming to a beautiful conclusion. Everything is just there to come to be done. And in so many ways, the process cannot be stopped. A lot of plan is to open up by 1st of June. There's a lot of plan to open up by sometime in mid-June and 1st of July. Hopefully, by that time, new opening will be opened up. And many of you will be part of it. Even if you listen to the tone and voices of 3 weeks ago of teaching and past week and this weekend, it's changed. We have taken a position of calmness because we know we have achieved what we came here for. We have achieved the position of the souls we were waiting for to allow us to move into what we were supposed to do. As we say in English, eagles have landed. And now is time to move on. It is time to move. And in so many ways, even for the 2 young souls in the physical dimension, it's going to be a horrendous job to do the transformation. You will see it. Because they still have dimension of physicality and they have to learn to live without a dimension of physicality, but be able to live in both, as mankind will learn very soon. It's a big change, and there's more or less nothing can stop it. The only thing that will stop this is the Earth literally get hit by meteorite, or we get pulled up into the solar system or into the sun. But as most of the both of them are very impossibilities or near enough zero, we'll go through the evolution. And the twin birth will exist. You will see a lot of things will come. But we open slowly the door. Because even you as knowledge seekers, who you are very open-minded, we say, because you've been qualified. If we tell you what is to happen, many of you just go crazy, or you just say, no, we go. Now we teach, what we say in English, we're spoon feeding. What is there? And we had to set the structure, we had to set up what we call the Universal Council, the Earth Council, the 2 souls, which are now, and the confirmation of the process. And you will see. The structure for one nation structure occurs and develops, is set up, is functioning, but will become better and better as it starts governing. Be ready for a big changes, very big changes, not in months and years. It's just that we try to do everything perfect. This is part of the structure we have to teach, part of the structure to be the birth of new life, new cycle. All has to be perfect in a way. If we teach how you can put an orange over a cup and taste the orange to its perfection without the dimension of physicality, but can you change that taste in that water back to an orange? This is a dilemma for a lot of you, which needs to be understood. And if you take it one step further, when the new children born to the what we call gifted souls, would their soul become the feeder to the soul of the new children born, that they are born perfect at the instant they are born? Because they have the true soul to replicate. Do we use the womb of the woman as like that cup, and the soul of the perfect children as the orange? These are not dream anymore. You will understand how it works very fast. That perfect child has to be born, that from it perfect children are born. It cannot be from this planet. It's got too many faults in it. You will understand very soon how it works, and everything has been shown in samples and examples over past years, and people can go back to it and they will see it. And no one can stop the process. No soul, no dimension of physicality, because it is a bigger structure than what is on. And the beauty of it is that it can be spoken, and it can be understood, and it can be celebrated, and it can be developed, and it can expand. Now everybody is locked down, everybody is fear of anything. They might walk on the street, they go to the restaurant, but every time coming home, if there is a pain, is this corona? Is this it? What do I have in the house too? What can I do? Or they understand the technology and they can use it and they develop it, and what's the next step? We have started a very beautiful test with 100 Mongol, those who were damaged during the birth tunnel and born genetically defect. And the doctor's team are now taking all the evidence of every single one, and we monitor every month. And we see how we can change. And that becomes part of this work of what we do, creating perfect children. That no child needs to suffer and will be in soul. As you say, I created you in the image of myself, is would they be created in the image of the child, what we call to be born? Perfect. And whoever carries that child is a gift from the universe. Has to have a physicality. And not just a mirage. We've seen the sun, we've seen everything. Mankind has and will go through this. Has no choice. And then there'll come the point that can we create that mindset that the whole of us as a human race decides that we want to go through that change, and through that phase of strength, through what we call the work of the souls of those who are here to bring the change, mankind will leave in that position. There is a lot of things need to be changed slowly. And there's a lot of things needs to be understood before the change comes. When we have the food, when we have the shelter, when like past 2-3 months, fake jobs are not there, killing jobs are not there, destruction jobs are not there. We walk on the beaches, we walk on the streets, we will take things and we do things. And what happened? If we have to work here, what happened? We go into space. Who pays us to be passengers of the space? Does money worth anything in space? When you're in a submarine, do you pay for your food? Do you pay for cleaning? When you're in space, do these astronauts pay for anything they've done, what they do? Shouldn't that be a pattern of life? We simply can be done in past 2 or 3 months. We shall see. As I said to a friend of mine in the past few days, go to your wardrobe, take your best suits and best dresses, and wait to be called upon by the Keshe Foundation to meet your world leaders, your governments, on behalf of the Keshe Foundation. And you deliver the world peace message and the world contract for peace in exchange for what is to be delivered by the Iranian government, and you represent us as Keshe Foundation. And we will see. Let's see what happens. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe.
You're welcome. We are all Mr. Keshes that we have to bring the change together. And we see what happens. There's a lot of burden on the two new souls and what they have to deliver and in what to come. And they need a lot of support in all dimensions and shapes of form, because the pillar of what we call new cycle will depend on what they give us, both of them. And it's not one anymore that it can be, but it's two that it's a pattern of new life, both in physical and soul dimension. It's a big evolution, it's a big evolution. The only problem is how man needs to let the physicality go, that he can see through the soul, but at the same time needs the physicality to confirm the confirmation of the existence and changes. We'll see. Thank you very much. We try to stick to 4 hours. We passed the 4 hours.
Thank you so much. What a great day in the universe.
Thank you very much indeed.
To all the participants in today's panel, I have to thank you so much for your intense involvement and your seriousness today. I really, really appreciate it. And we're seeing the energy field ever expanding. So on behalf of myself,
Can we ask a question?
I guess so, Jalal.
Good evening. Hi, everyone. Good day, Mr. Keshe. Or good evening, Mr. Keshe.
Good evening, Joe.
Mr. Keshe, can I...
By the way, a happy Eid to you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Keshe. You too. Mr. Keshe, can someone work with amino acid of CH3? Without the CH3, only the amino acid?
Why do you need that?
In the old teaching, in the private teaching, you mentioned something, and it came available now from your teaching to fix that.
What do you mean?
In the private teaching, 2015.
My God, are you going through every teaching, every word?
Of course. All the knowledge is there. What do you think? Now you are teaching us? It's already, you have taught us before. So, you mentioned to combine amino acids. And one of the ingredients of that, I didn't understand it, and you didn't really explain it. But when this coronavirus came, you open it up, and I understand what you mean in that time. But the thing, we cannot use the CH3 because of the coronavirus. Can I use the amino acid?
No.
No way. Huh?
No way.
Okay.
Not yet.
Not yet. Yes.
Not yet. You got to see, actually, in part of the corona, you need CH3, but we're trying to keep away from it. That we do not create that window, possible window, for the virus to use it. This is the problem.
But if we are going to use the energy of the virus, why should we feel of it?
It's not fear, it's understanding the process. It's a big difference.
So until now we cannot.
We advise not.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Keshe.
Peggy, I'm going to put it in your hands. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Alex. Mr. Keshe, thank you very much for being with us today.
Thank you very much for listening. It's amazing to see how what we believed in now is heard by the voice amongst you lot. Devotion and delivery and care.
We are one family. Thank you for bringing us together.
Thank you very much.
Are we ready to close up then, everyone? Alex, you ready?
Thank you very much and goodbye.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe.